Streamlabs OBS and I'll export it.
Hey guys, trying to figure this out. Stand by another minute. We'll be right there. Yeah.
Okay, people should be able to hear you now. Also, you can see that directly.
Whoops. Hello. Can you guys able to hear? No sound. Okay, let's give it another second, see if the sound is delayed, or you're still saying no sound.
You're going to be on I think a 15 or 30-second delay.
Okay, there might be a delay. Let me know when you can hear me. Okay, we've got audio. Great. Good. We are going to get Okay, good morning. Sorry for the the 5-minute delay. As you could tell, trying to use YouTube with like OSB Labs and so forth. Anyway, we'll get better. It's fine. I'm here. I hope you guys are here. Oh, lost sound. It's gone again. Okay, let's see if I just turn it back on, and if it's back, we have sound. Okay, good. Okay, we are going to go to questions, starting with some hellos. Hello, hello, hello. I'm seeing everybody's hellos this morning. Jeffrey, Tim, good to see you on this. Thanks for everything. Bella, hello, Bella. Rex, Roderick, got it. Volume is on. Okay, no sound in New York. I think sound is back. I have a question. I see a question. The question is, does your products interact with voice recognition? So at this moment, the products do not interact with voice recognition. We've been toying with it. There's a couple of issues with it. Besides on the technology side, that the tech still needs to come a little bit of a ways, I think. But there's wiretapping laws related to recording audio in public spaces. So unlike video, where you could record, take pictures, do whatever it is you want with video all day and all night, wiretapping, or rather audio, is a totally different question. So it's something that I'm not ready to dive into yet. The law is pretty clear on it, and will we tackle it at some point? I expect to, but not right now. Not for public space. Not for public space audio analytics. Okay, let's see what's next. Hi, Steve. Hi, Jax. Okay, we're good in New York. Good. Okay, let's get some questions going. Good morning. Good morning, Tim. Greetings. Love to see you on this. Sapa, great research. CP, hello, hello. Some announcements with CP potentially next week. So I'm reading the stream. I can see, the chats here. This week we put out a lot of info. I think a few of the folks that are really tracking us got to update their numbers, and it was good to be able to share some information related to our sales funnel and what we've got going and what we're trying to do in terms of getting to 500. So I was happy to get that information out, and thanks everyone who's following us closely. Okay, a reminder that the stream is delayed 30 seconds. Thank you very much. Greetings from Belgium. Good to see you. Hey, BG, Bullish Green. Yeah, good to have you on. Good in New York. Rex Beach. Rosa seems to be dominating sales this year. Do you see that changing after 3.0 launch? From a device volume standpoint, I don't see it changing. I see it potentially accelerating because Rosa 3.0 is amazing, and I think the market's going to love it in a way that they will love even more than Rosa 180. When you guys see Rosa 3.0, you'll never look at Rosa 180 the same again. So that's how big of a transformation the difference is between the two products. So from a visual standpoint, at least. So yeah, I think Rosa 3.0 sales will be amazing. I think we're capping Rosa 180 production at maybe 175 units. I think so. That's pretty much there. I think we maybe have 30 or 40, maybe between 20 and 40 unsold right now from the last batches. So I expect those to be sold in the next couple 3 weeks, potentially, depending on what comes in. So, and really it's a good question because it lets me share more excitement for how big these changes for RAD 3.0 on October 13th are going to be. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's a large part of my focus these days is preparing for that whole launch, this whole coordinated launch for RAD 3.0. Carl Gabe, hello. Steve, I remember reading back that we had letters of intent for Romeo waiting for the Rex to open. Have those letters turned into sales? Sorry, my dog. What are we doing there, Pen? No, the letters of intent have not turned into sales yet. We have not pushed it yet. I expect that they will, but they haven't yet. And it's not because of the client side, it's because of our side. Because this Romeo 2.0, the first 20 units that we're building are going to be pretty spectacular. And as you know, I've been kind of slow playing the launch into the market of Romeo 2.0. There's been false starts with these types of mobile robots in the market before. One of them done by us 4 or 5 years ago. So this particular launch has to be perfect, and it is now. So we've got parts coming in from all over the world. Whoever comes in on October 13th is going to see production in place. I don't know if you guys can see, but say hello to Penny. Penny's back there. Anyway, okay, so that's the answer on Romeo 3.0. I think that Romeo 2.0, I think we're going to have some really solid sales this fiscal year in Romeo. That's what I'm expecting. And I don't know. I'm happy with where we're at this year. Romeo's going to be a big part of it. And hopefully we get, some nice double-digit numbers into that 500, into that move to 500, right? As far as Romeos go. Let me see the next question. Okay, let's see what we got next. Shades and trades. When do you see the company being profitable? Good question. Not for a while. And, we'll make no secret about it. Our plan that we have been consistent on forever is invest, invest, invest. Invest in sales, production, R&D. Invest in our customers. Because we're on a mission. We're on a mission to create what we think is going to be an enormous company that brings useful, everyday AI-based automation to a bunch of different problems. And that's going to take time and money. And if we don't move fast, if we don't work hard, if we don't move fast, if we don't stay focused, then someone else is going to kind of take what we've started. And we're not going to let that happen. So much like Amazon ran for 15 years without making a profit, I don't think it's going to be 15 years, maybe 3, but that remains to be seen. But, somewhere between 2 to 4 years is when I think that our expense line will be less than our profit line. So that's kind of the time frame on that. Comparing us to Amazon, which, I'm sure some people will be like, oh my God, how can you compare Sept to Amazon? I'll compare ourselves to whomever we feel like, if we feel that there's some similarities in the model. The model between Amazon is different from RAD because until Amazon came out with web services, AWS, they were working off of incredibly slim margins, in some cases negative margins, losing money on different transactions. Amazon Web Services came along and, of course, has powered their profitability across the board. Now, the difference for us is that we don't have any of that low margin, high volume work that Amazon does. We just have high margin work, albeit at low volume. So we want to maintain the high margins and build the volume and maximize product profitability that way. So we start talking about device counts. There's a reason why I picked 500, and this relates back to the profitability. So at 500, depending on the product mix, we can be profitable, potentially, depending on how we manage the business. And again, I'll reiterate that I don't plan on that happening. I plan on continuing to invest and build. And it doesn't mean that the stock value won't rise. I expect the stock value to rise as revenues and increase, and as our IP increases, and as our customer base increases, and as it becomes more apparent that we are the incumbent in this market, and we are the thought leader, and we are coming out with the best product, and we do have the best partnerships. Absolutely, I expect the stock price to increase despite profitability still maybe being 24, 36 months away. So shades and trades, I hope that was a thorough answer to a great question. Thank you very much for that. Matt D, looking for an update on OTC IQ profile and turn time for backlogged units. What's the limiting factor on backlog? Okay, so a couple questions in there, Matt D. Thank you very much. OTC IQ. We're not a member of OTC IQ, so we don't pay for that extra service. I think it's $5,000 a year or something like that. I don't know exactly, but it really has no value to us as a company. So what we have been able to do on OTC markets is update a lot of the different pieces of business information, from business description, contacts, roles, those types of things. And I heard last week that TD America and I think Fidelity managed to get their AITX descriptions updated. So I think that's good. Sometimes that information comes out of OTC IQ, so that's why I mention it. But in any case, hey, having these brokerage firms with up-to-date information is a priority of ours. It's just not something that we can control. It's up to them. And when our investors have reached out to them, they say, hey, it's not up to them. They use a service, and we don't know who the service is, but whoever it is, they don't move fast on AITX. So I'm glad that we're a little bit updated now. Turn time for the backlogged units. Well, it's a good question, right? It's kind of a continuous give and take. So right now, I think there's or at the time of the press release, there were 64 units on backlog, thereabouts, plus or minus. I confused that with the number of employees, because 65 employees, 64 units on backlog, coincidentally quite close. But as backlog gets handled, new orders come into the backlog. So it's kind of like, it's not something necessarily that's going to get, I don't expect it ever to be zero. I expect there always to be some orders that need to be fulfilled as they come in. What we're working on is getting those orders fulfilled much quicker. Some of the units, say Romeo or so forth, take a little bit of time to build and get out. Scots take a little bit of time to build and get out. Rosas, we're pumping out like crazy. I mean, we'll throw a few roses together in a day. Wallies, few days. Avas, couple days. So our build times have gotten really, really, really good. The limiting factor on the backlog is often the graphics. The graphics are often the biggest stall point. So we've been doing a lot in solid colors, just because having graphics approved by the end users just takes time and time and time, and customers don't want that to wait that time to go through their own internal processes. So we've been putting out a lot of whites and a lot of dark grays. So yes, that customization element slows us down in terms of going through a process. From an inventory standpoint, we have been very good at stockpiling difficult to find pieces. We know that there's a chip shortage, and obviously we use chips. So whenever anything becomes available, we buy everything we possibly can. It's as simple as that. So we are sitting on some good stocks of the different chip-related products that could have technically slowed us down if we had continued to do kind of just-in-time purchasing and building. So now we've had to kind of change on the production side from that, again, just-in-time process to stockpiling inventory. You'll see it on the Q2 balance sheet. You'll see increased inventory because of that. So that's a good thing. Other than that, certainly trials related to slow shipments, but the team has worked through them pretty well. It just kind of has worked out okay, and no customers have really been waiting too long. There was a little bit of a delay for a little while, but we're over that. So at this moment, the state of the union as far as production goes is great. We've got material, we've got orders, we've got great trained staff, we've got fully functioning recs moving at the speed of light. So production is solid. I'm really happy about that. Thank you, Matt D. Sunlight. Are Rosa going to be built for inside corners? Wow. Huh. I never thought of that. We came out with Rosa 270 for outside corners. Rosa on inside corners. Well, I don't know. because this is the first time I've ever spent a second thinking about it. So sunlight, I'll continue to think about it. It might dovetail in with a different product that we have under development for 2022. So we'll see how that fits in, but it's an interesting idea. Thank you for that. Holly Moore, hello, Idaho. Austin, hey man, you've been around for a while. Thank you so much for that. Hey Steve, I know you've previously mentioned no chance of an RS in the foreseeable future. Any chance you'd put that into a filing? Noticed a few others have done that. Seems to help investor confidence. Yeah. Any chance you'd put that into a filing? I mean, certainly there's a chance. So the answer is yes there. I think what I need to see is how stock action goes over these next few months, how the S3 raise goes, and so forth. I mean, some of that's going to be affected by, are we going to accelerate, uplist the Nasdaq? How's that going to affect? So there's more moving pieces than just simply issuing a press release to that effect. So I don't know. People have said it. I've said in foreseeable future 1,000 times now. I don't know really if a press release to that effect would help at this point. If you're asking the question because you think that this immediate RS rumors are hurting the stock, I don't know. Anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at on that question. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to help. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know what else it would affect. But thank you for the question. I lost my place here, guys. I'm sorry. Let's see where I'm at. Okay. What was the results of the CBRE Innovation Challenge? Well, very happy to say we are a finalist. So we're one of, I don't know how many, but not that many finalists. We teamed up with Grainger. You guys might know Grainger. They're, I think, maybe the largest distributor of industrial-related products in the world. I think, I don't know. You got to look them up. Grainger. So we have our final presentation, our finalist presentation this week. I don't know how long it's going to take us before they announce the winner. Or I don't know if there's runner-ups or second or third place. I have no idea. But I do know that the final presentation is on Thursday. We've been working hard on it. We have a coach from CBRE that we've had a few calls with, focusing on the presentation, the talking points, what it's going to take. So I really want to win. I really hope we win. Thursday, I think, is our presentation. We'll let you know as soon as I know. I'm sure it'll be a press release if we win, or if we're, top 3 or something like that. I'm sure we'll want to talk about it. Whether we win or we don't win, though, the fact that we made it as a finalist has given us a door opener for various divisions within CBRE, as well as Jones Lang LaSalle and other smaller and medium-sized facility management companies. So we're going to leverage the fact that we made it as a finalist significantly. Now, if we're the winner, obviously that gives us a stronger talking point for the market, and that's what I'm working to do. But beyond my control, I'll do the best we can, and I'll let you guys know. So thanks for that. Thanks for that question. Well, next is Blue Golden Tea. Will AITX's devices have built-in solar or just a solar hookup? Yeah, so they're just the solar hookup. The devices themselves use much too much power. Everyone always asks, solar. Well, you don't know what we got processing inside these things. We're sucking power. So that's basically the answer there. Michael Noyes, hello. Thank you very much for asking a question. If the goal is met of 500 units in use in the next 6 months, what is the continuous monthly revenue look like at that amount? Yeah, and that's the question. What is the mix of the 500? So we know the mix of the first 200. And what's the mix of the next 500? Is it going to be Romeo heavy? Is it going to be Rosa heavy? What's going to be the dominant device? Because that's what's going to drive that monthly continuous revenue. I mentioned earlier on the call that we're kind of slow playing some of the Romeo stuff. Definitely Romeo's massive revenue driver, right? I want to get as many Romeos out there as we possibly can. So it's our most profitable device by aggregate dollars. So I don't know. We'll just have to see. We'll see what people want to buy. We'll see what we can sell. Thank you, Michael. Dennis Fields, any issues with your devices working in cold climates? I mean, it's a bit of a subjective question, right? Cold. And the reason why I'm saying is, what is cold? If you ask my wife, anything under 65 degrees is cold. If you ask some of our partners in Canada, anything under 30 degrees below zero is cold. So where we're at right now, and just because our engineers are Canadian largely, and I grew up in Canada, I'll go in Celsius. We're building all of our products, and all of our products work just fine to minus 10 degrees Celsius. And we have some potential clients in some of the northern areas of Canada, like Edmonton and Fort McMurray, so forth, and they're like, it gets so cold out here, it gets minus 30, minus 40 Celsius. And they're like, will the devices work? And I'm like, listen, I'm not saying the devices are working. I'm saying the devices are going to work to minus 10 Celsius. Our engineers tell us that they'll work to minus 15, but I put it out at minus 10. And I reply to them, I'm like, what's happening out there when it's minus 30, when it's below 30 in Celsius, right? Like, you guys going to get broken into? No, people are trying to stay warm and alive. They're not necessarily up to nefarious activities when it's super freezing cold. So anyway, we've had devices out in relatively cold climates in the American Northeast, in southwestern Ontario or southeastern Ontario, and they've been working fine. So heat and cold, we're in fine shape there. Stuart Berman, hey Steve, hey Stuart. I'm back. The pets are fascinated with this YouTube event, I guess. Dennis Fields, any issues? Okay, we just did that. Stuart Berman, hey Steve, hey Stuart. Levon, hey Steve, I know you added the Rockstar designer to your team. I did. We did. We really, really did. When would you expect the new designs to hit the market, and what are they going to look like? Wow. Well, October 13th is when we're going to do the reveal on what we call RAD 3.0. RAD 3.0 has all of the new designs that our Rockstar designer has done for us. We already have prototypes, 3D printed prototypes of Rosa 3.0. We just pulled the trigger on Friday for our first production run of Rosa 3.0, which is amazing. I think Ava 3.0, we've got the prototype unit from Ava 3.0 as well. Amazing. I think we're going to go to the first production run on Ava 3.0 next week or the week after, sometime in the next 2 weeks. So hopefully, well, I expect to have production Rosa 3.0s for October 13th. We may have Ava 3.0 production units by October 13th as well. That remains to be seen. It might be really close. But either way, I'll have the 3D units of Ava on October 13th. So you're going to see what we've been up to on October 13th. You're going to see these designs that I say are stunning. And that's when you're going to know what they look like. At the same time, we're going to do, we did do a little refresh to the AITX logo, a little refresh to the RAD logo, trying to, again, get better in everything that we do all the time. RAD website is going to be going through a bit of a reorganization and a facelift. That'll be announced on October 13th as well. So a lot of these elements we've been working on. That's why I keep pointing everyone to, hey, if you're not going to be at the event, I think we're only going to have 50, 60 people at the event, then make sure you stream it. there'll be a few different ways to stream it. So October 13th. Mohammed, hello. It's good to see you here. Man, oh man, those dogs are in and out. That dog is in and out. Paul, are you having any supply shortages or shipping delays? Yeah, good question. And I kind of covered that a little bit earlier when I was talking about the other pieces of production. So supplies are looking good right now. Denver, please explain the subscription concept. Well, I mean, you get a unit, you pay every month. That's the subscription concept, Denver. Thanks for the question. Hey, Steve, Kimberly from Artist456. Hello. Thanks for being on. Me4, Steve, when a customer places an order, what is the estimate you give the customer as to when they'll receive it? Also, how long do you estimate it'll take to clear up the backlog? Okay, so similar to the other question. So, it depends. If you're getting a Rosa, if you're ordering a Rosa today, I'll ship it to you tomorrow, right? So I think last year we started talking about our quick ship process, which was a big deal for us. So that's rocking and rolling on Rosas right now. Ava's not that further behind. We might tell customers 30 days, but we're generally trying to beat those dates. Ideally, I'd like 7 days on all products, including Romeo. Romeo right now is 60 days. Those are pretty much the lead times. How long it'll take to clear up back orders? As I mentioned prior, we're not really ever going to clear up back orders. We're just going to kind of move them through the back order process, right? So first in, first out, but always hope to have back orders. Tim, message retracted. Okay, no problem. I don't know what the question was. You can ask it. J Lau Studio. Hey, Steve. Hey, Carl. Thanks for the insight on Romeo. It's my pleasure, man. It's my pleasure. I'm here to answer the questions. This isn't my first rodeo as far as running a business, but times are different now. And now, I want to make running this business a social experience as well as a profitable one. So we've got our social media marketing manager starting in a week and a bit. And I've got a surprise coming out on October 13th, one of the surprises that I've mentioned. And we're going to try to really, how can we take what we're doing as a company and get even more engaged with our investors and do some cool things with that. So I'm here to share. We're here to be transparent. It is uncomfortable sometimes because I've got competitors or would-be competitors watching, but it's just kind of how it is. So I'm plugging forward. I just want to keep pushing as hard as we can so we always stay ahead. But anyway, that's business in 2021. Average time frame from order to install, it largely depends on the client because the client has to do some coordination on their side depending on what kind of site it is and power and so forth. So like I said, we'll ship out depending on the unit next day, next week, next month. DL to the moon. I hope so, man. I hope so. We're working on it. Hristo Banev, good to see you. You're always around. Thank you. Hey, Steve, can you give us something extraordinary coming up for the next year or earlier? No, I can't. I'm sorry. Stay tuned to Twitter. Stay tuned to YouTube. Stay tuned on that October 13th event. And that's the best I could do. So, but thanks for the question. DL, 600,000 shares. Nice count. I love that. Thank you very much for the belief. Follow us along. Have you thought about the apartment industry from GG1234ish? My car was broken into last week. No security to be found. Such a problem, right? Such a pain in the ass problem. Crimes of opportunity. Desperate crimes of opportunity. Tough to solve, but we have, I think, a solution. You got to wait till October 13th. Shades and Trades, I got you. Tim, you're messaging and retracting again. That's okay. Whatever. I know you got something good. I'm ready for it. Okay. Any plans for residential security? Maybe. Stay tuned. I'm leaving it at that. They may need to buy back a few million shares to justify it. I don't know. They're still recovering from years of debt and poor financial habits. I don't know about that, David Cornell. Poor financial habits, I certainly question. Anyway, moving on. Mentellect, AITX Future Security. I second the thought. Tim, a question. In keeping a wide moat and trying to corner the market from other companies, what patents do you hold in your technology? We don't hold any patents on our technology. We have a couple handfuls of trademarks, registered trademarks in process and slogans. We will be filing design patents on the RAD 3.0 design line, because I think that, when we talk about it, when internally as a group and we're going through the design, I always reference it to Graham Bell and the first phone. What did the first phone look like? He didn't have anything to go by, right? He kind of modified the telegraph, and that kind of evolved to where phones are today. What I think that Rosa and some of these other devices that we're coming out with are going to be the standard, are going to be the telephone standard. I don't want folks copying that. So we're going to be doing design patents on those products. As far as patents go, it's just tough filing patents on this kind of stuff these days. Software patents are too easy to, duplicate the end result without breaking the patent. It's just not worth it. And then when you do file it, you got to defend it. And it's just, I'm not winning this market in the courtroom. I'm going to win it in the battlefield, in the market. That's where we're going to win. So that's better use of our resources and my time. And that's where we're at on patents. So I think that in the press release, I said we've got maybe 17 or 18 additional items to file. So we should be somewhere between 30 and 40 different types of registrations and design patents by the end of this fiscal year. And that'll keep growing from there. But that's my attitude on patents. And that's where we're at. Okay, let's keep moving on. Roderick Jenkins, I'm very new. Just want to say it's cool of you to do this. Hey, man, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Roderick. Glad to have you on board, man. Glad to have everybody on board. So I hope that my efforts and actions show that. Thank you. Rose, New York subway contract, any big subway contract? No, we don't have. We've got some transit stuff in play. We're over at Fort Worth Transit right now. We have some other transit folks in play right now. As that market comes back, I think we'll get more action. Right now, we actually do have a verbal from something right now, but I can't. I got to talk about that through a press release or something else. So we have made a little bit of headway in transit, but ridership is about 50% right now of where it normally is. So they're suffering on the budget side. It's a little bit difficult. Luckily for them, the feds came in with extra money to keep everything going. Thank goodness. But they've got to get a return. I forget what they call it. It's not the casual rider, but it's like the rider that has a choice is the rider that they want to get back. So right now, the riders they have are the guys and girls who have to ride it because they don't have any other choices. They want to get those optional riders back. It'll come back. GG supply, I talked about that. List on a real exchange already. Okay, Dr. Biz, I hear you. As far as I know, OTC is a real exchange. I mean, it's $1 trillion a day. I don't know how much they're doing a day, but it seems like a real exchange to me. We'll file for the QB next year, depending on how sales go. I'm always leaving this open because it's true. The Nasdaq move. The Nasdaq move is a move that I think could be very interesting, but I can't do it at the wrong time. I've got to do the uplift at the right time, and we're not there yet. So it's going to depend on sales. David Cornell, right? Well, David Cornell, Fidelity and Schwab aren't exchanges. They're brokerage houses. So the exchange that we're on is OTC, which I think is what Dr. Biz is claiming is not a real exchange. Blue Golden, any plans for city bus stops? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, small sales staff right now, 4 or 5 guys, girls, whatever. And I need to add heads. There's just so many more stones to overturn and to get into. So really this RAD 3.0 launch, I think is going to be a big deal. And we're going to just grow and expand. And like I've said, invest. Any plans for bus stops for city safety? Yeah. I'm hoping something could come out on that relatively soon. There's been something hanging. that I need to get closed, and it's just big city, big bureaucracy, takes time. But thank you for the question, Blue Golden. Mr. Frugal Investor, hello, sir. I love your coverage. I think it is spot on. There's no hype. It's accurate. It talks about the facts. It's really, really well done. So thank you, Mr. Frugal Investor. How many of your sales in your last quarter were subscription versus straight out sales? First quarter, which the financials are public already, of course, the majority of the sales were straight out sales, right? And that's shown on the income statement. So you can see what's subscription and what is purchase. Second quarter that just closed a couple weeks ago, vast majority are back to the recurring monthly revenue options, and there were fewer sales. This quarter, we've had a couple sales come in already, but again, the vast majority are monthly recurring revenue. Now, from our perspective, or from my perspective at the moment, I don't really care if it's a sale or if it's recurring monthly revenue. On the sale is nice because we still have relatively low monthly recurring revenue comparatively to where I expect us to be. So it bumps the revenue numbers, and that's nice. From a profitability standpoint, the monthly recurring revenue has greater profitability. So it's kind of like they're both good. We'll take them both. I like it. Truly, though, the number that I look at is the monthly recurring revenue number, is getting that number up and up and up. That's the highest profit number. That is the number that we talk about going to Nasdaq that will get the valuation multiple the biggest. That's the number where we'll get a 40, 50, 60, maybe more times multiple, maybe less. I don't know, right? This is speculation. Maybe less, but that recurring monthly revenue number has much more value to Wall Street than the one-time sales numbers. So that's the answer there. Great question, Mr. Frugal. Again, thank you so much for the coverage, for the great work. Matt Dundee, thanks for the response. Keep the great work. Hey, thank you for the question. Thank you for being here. Dr. Biz, again, okay, no big investors use notes. Okay, whatever. Again, wasting my time. Sandina, Michelle, hello, Steve. You mentioned Nasdaq in your previous update. When is that happening? I don't know. As I've said, I don't know. It could happen sooner. If sales really take off, it could happen a little bit later. If we're slower, it's a decision based on a variety of factors. So it's just like sales. I can't predict it. Mr. Frugal Investor, please direct message me or send me a direct message somehow or other. And I think you know how to get a hold of me. I'd like to connect with you on something, so please send out a message. When can you lease a Rosa? Absolutely. The vast majority of Rosas we don't call it lease, we call them on subscriptions. So yes, so they absolutely can, and they do, and that's how we do it out. Any word on the collaboration with Ghost? Well, I don't know what's new coming out with them. I know that we may have our first 2 prototypes, so existing Ghost units. I expect to have one in early October, potentially before October 13th, and then another one in November. And then our teams are just starting to work together to create what I'll just call the 50 unit. So that's slowly starting to ramp up. We've got a few things to finish up on both of our sides, but that's where we're at. Trump, okay, whatever. Hey, Steve, how's the shipment coming from China? We track the ship. So I haven't tracked it in a little while. I don't know if it's in Seattle or LA or on a truck yet. But Kimberly Galeno, I imagine that you're talking about the Romeo shells, the order of Romeo shells that we're waiting for. So they've been out for a couple weeks now already. They might be here. They might be docked. I don't know. I should probably check, but they're on schedule as far as I know. Rex Beach, it's super exciting. 7-Eleven. I know. Isn't that so fun? We've been working so hard for those guys for a long time. Our sales handled at a corporate level, regional, or with individual stores. Just curious if we would see 100 plus or 1,000 plus orders at some point. Well, you guys know me. I always try to set realistic expectations and share real info. I do not expect 1,000 plus order from 7-Eleven. Okay, there's just not enough stores that have problems that we need to solve. Vast majority of most organizations, everything runs fine. In a corporate group like 7-Eleven, there's some stores that have problems, and that's what we're looking to fix. So there could be some information coming out on this week. It's not going to be huge information, but I think it'll be some information, so stay tuned for that. That'll come through a press release. I would like to receive 100 plus unit from 7-Eleven at some point. Are we there yet? We're not there yet. But have there been any problems so far? There haven't been problems. We've been doing really well. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but as you guys know a little bit about me at this point, I try to be very conservative, especially when talking with retail investors. Great question, Rex. Sunlight, can emergency lighting be implemented to make the roses more versatile with fire code? Well, fire code is, and sunlight, I don't know if you know anything about fire code, but fire code is like, it's immovable, unshakable. It takes years or decades to make changes and get things approved. It's not something that we're going to be going after as far as being a legit fire approved, evac device or notification device. It's not necessary and it's not possible. So that's where we're at with Rosa and fire. Austin, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. Peter Van Dalen Wetters, any thought of changing the font type on the roses? The pixel style looks dated. I know. So let's break that down into two different areas. The first thing is font type. We have full control over the font type, so we can use any font that we want because we write the firmware. We go down to the firmware. It gives me an opportunity to share with you guys and girls is, we do everything in our ecosystem. So we're writing the firmware, we're creating our own PCB boards, right? This is important tech that we need to own and control so we can own and control supply chain and cost, not be held hostage by anybody. So we can do any font you want. That's why we can do multiple languages, because we could do acrylic, Chinese, whatever it might be. The pixel style looks dated. It does look dated. There are some improvements coming on the 3.0 line. Okay, it's not a massive change, but it is a slicker improvement. It is a slicker improvement that you'll see on October 13th. What is required financially? So extra cash too. What is required financially for the going concern remarks removed from SEC filings? What a great question. I have specifically discussed that with the auditors, and more or less they say have a chunk of cash in the bank, a big chunk of cash in the bank, and they'll remove the going concern. Now that is, I'm summarizing it, right? But that comes back to the S3, right? We're raising cash to keep in the bank, so we remove that going concern line. It's a focus point. I think I've put it in a Q or a K. That's something that I wanted to do and we're focusing on. So balance sheet cleanup, removal of going concern lines are on our to-do list. And again, like everything, it kind of keeps it exciting, I guess. There's no guarantees, but we're doing what we can on that one. So that's a cool question. Extra cash. Mohammed, for the next 6 months, Expo 2020 Dubai is happening. Considered a huge opportunity. Yeah, Mohammed, we're not doing that yet. We got a lot of work to do here in the United States, and Canada and Western and Eastern Europe for that matter. So not ready for the Middle East yet. But and just again, just telling you how it is and where we're at. But thanks for the question. Maybe next year. I hope next year. Work with Ascent Solar. David, I might take a look at that. LERP. Hello, LERP. I'm a shareholder and wondering if my company can help you. We supply semiconductors mainly for jet fighters, tanks, and submarines. We also supply parts for MRI. Probably not. Probably not, Lerp. We design our own PCB boards. It's a separate team that I'm not an expert in, but I do expect that the military stuff that you're doing right now is of greater complexity and greater cost than where we like to be on the commercial side. Thank you for the question. Niwar Haddad. When do you expect AITX specialists to start spotting Romeo in the wild? Yeah, I would say 6 months is reasonable. Absolutely. Absolutely, for sure. Yes. Sunlight. Respects to fire code, fire department. Well, the fire department can certainly have access to any RAD device should they wish. So that's available right now. It's available to police, any type of first responders. So that answer is an easy yes. That's been in the platform since day one. Geez, Dr. Biz really at it this morning. All right. Let's see what's next. Any plan to list on the Toronto Stock Exchange? No, not likely. I think OTC has more liquidity than where we would end up on the TSE, which would be a TSE venture or something like that. But no thought process, no desire. A normal guy. Hey, you are one of my favorite investors. Thank you. It's good to see you here. Nick, Steve, your business is growing very well. Do you plan to manufacture products in the ISIS only? Would you manufacture products in other countries on the road? Absolutely. So we've had some discussions with our Romanian partner about them doing some of the finished assembly in Eastern Europe. So that was a trip that actually I was going to take in August that I canceled because we had some other things going on here. I forget why I canceled it, but unfortunately I had that thing scheduled for a long time and canceled it. But part of that trip was to go and check out their facilities and start discussing that with them. And then China, of course, too. Certainly there are some plans on doing some manufacturing in China as well, manufacturing and final assembly in China. Right time investment from Toronto. All right. You all know I grew up in Toronto, more or less. Anthony Gibson, what service is being provided from AITX for the monthly fee? Well, a few services. Number one, all the cloud hosting, processing, all of, the devices themselves are somewhat edge devices, but they're really hybrid devices in terms of what gets processed on the device, what gets processed in the cloud. So the cloud component is an essential part of it, and that's covered in the AITX monthly fee. I think we should all buy a hat and shirt to promote. I agree with you, GGG1234ish. And if you wait a few days, we may have the new AITX logo up at the shop AITX.com site. So that might go up today, it might go up tomorrow. Not huge changes to the logo. Again, just cleaning it up, making it more corporate, making it bringing it up to the level of the customers that we're dealing with right now. Carl, hello. With the new Rosa you teased this week, does it compare to the Livewire products that are out today? Oh, yeah. So, no. So, are you able to capture any accounts from Nightscope? Well, I'm not going to address the Nightscope Livewire capture question because I don't want to be provocative. It's unnecessarily provocative for either company for me to address that. So, that'll be a skip on that question. The Rosa isn't really, Livewire doesn't necessarily have their own products. They're buying off-the-shelf stuff, throwing it on a trailer with solar and turning it on. We're writing everything from ground zero, building everything from ground zero. So there's massive differences between us and Livewire. Paul, thank you. Please donate a Rosa to your investors. That's funny. Shades and Trades. Okay, you had a good question the first time. Let's see. Where do you see yourself within the company in 3 to 5 years? To follow that up, where do you see the company itself in 3 to 5 years? Well, 3 to 5 years, I'd like to see the company on a senior exchange. I'd like to be profitable. I'd like to be a well-known, dominant player in this industry. That's where I'd like to be. I'm not going to add any numbers on where I see numbers on that. But that's where I see the company in 3 to 5 years. For me, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm loving where we're at right now. We're having a lot of fun as a company. We're working really hard. So I expect to continue this for the next 3 to 5 years. So it's really after that in 3 to 5 years when I'll need to decide where's the company, where am I, where does it really put us out? I don't know. Holy crap, what's next? Cool name. I'm not sure if this is already answered. Is your software tied with local police? So technically, it's not like tied in like we've got anything integrated, but because we're web-based, if you have proper login credentials, you can hit it, whether you're police or whether you're a local security guy or facilities guy. So they can certainly access it. And that was by design. If you could have anything to help you with your business besides sales, what would it be? Yeah, I would say $100 million that I could pour into massively expand all of our research and development elements. There's a ton that I want to get out into the market. I want to get it out as fast as I possibly can. I want it to be beautiful and perfect. So I need time and more money. We're going to work with what we have, though, because that's just how it is. Cool question, Christopher. Muck Happy. Sorry for your answers. Having technical difficulties. What is the close rate for prospects in stage 5? I haven't done the math. I don't know. The way I look at it, the way we look at it, is that everybody in stage 5 eventually will be closed. That's literally how we look at it inside. It could be a timing issue, it could be a personality issue, but the need for them to use our products isn't going to go away. And them using somebody else where they would use us can't happen because there is nobody else that does what we do. So I see everybody over in stage 5 and over as a potential customer, just a question of the time. Cool question, Muck Happy. Madan. Hi, Steve. Any plans on leveraging the 3D printing technology to scale up the production? No, not at all. 3D printing technology will not replace how we're making right now. We're using these new roses are going to a polyurethane casting method, which is really, really cool. And we're, as we move to scale, we have to move away from CNCing the entire device. So this is our first foray into casting, which is really, really cool. And that's how we'll scale. That's how we'll get costs down while maintaining quality. John 3:16, concentrate. Absolutely, John. That's exactly it, man. We never deviate from that. That is the mission. Thank you. That's exactly what we're doing. AKA Beef. Hey, man. Thank you. I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the feedback. Updates on Ghost Robotics. Christopher, I gave that already. Will your ARS be used in EVs? I hope so. That's a great question, Denoris, because that's what RAD G, RAD Group, is all about. It's all about getting our hardware that we're building into other people's devices. I've said it before. I think there's tremendous potential in there for us. Who's our main competitor? Inertia is our main competitor. People not making decisions that are new to them. That's our main competitor. Mopar, I have a friend at a car dealership. Yeah, keep suffering. Do salespeople reach out to dealerships? Yes, we do reach out to dealerships actively, regularly. I think we'll have a couple more coming online pretty soon. The customers that we have in that space are happy. We've got some multiple reorders from different folks in that space, so I'm pretty excited about it. But yeah, hopefully we get them everywhere soon enough. Roman, you are on fire. Are you looking for any acquisition opportunities? Yes, we are. There are, I think this would be an answer best described through a full public disclosure type of piece, like either in one of the Qs or Ks or press release. So I'm just going to leave it again at a yes. Are you looking for acquisition? Yes. It's normal for us, for companies like us, to be looking for acquisition opportunities. We are. I'm not going to be more specific than that. I don't know. Illis, maybe I'll take a look. Mark Anthony, can I get a job? You can send me a resume, Mark. We've hired a few AITX investors. So send us a resume. Steve, I think you should promote AITX heavily in New York City. That is where the money is. It is. It's a heck of a city. It is a heck of a city. Good suggestion. SOC 2 audit. Pank. SOC 2 audit. SOC 2 audit. I think we're down to about 60 items of that we have to show what we're doing. So we made a lot of progress trying to get to a state by October 1st. But again, it's subject to different people doing different things to make it happen. So I should have the pen test results this week. So I'm hoping to get the pen test results back. I think they'll be great. So that's good. So SOC 2 audit is, I want to say we're getting close to the finish line. But I think we're almost getting close to the finish line. But I'm excited about getting that thing closed off, I tell you that. Can you talk about yourself, your background? Nobody cares. I prevail almighty. I appreciate the question. Let's save it for another day. Let's talk about AI. Let's talk about AITX on this call, but thank you for that. L4TH. Okay, one of the folks that follow everything, know everything that's going on in the company, and really an expert. You write, in the previous weekend update, you mentioned software progress new developers. What percentage are working on updating and improving existing company software versus working on new software? Well, again, it's a good question and not something that I break down in my head as to who, like I don't think about things in that way. So it takes me a minute just to kind of regroup. We have engineers working on new software related to our PCB boards. We have engineers really, I think really the rest of the engineering are working on updating and improving the existing company software is probably how I'd say. So I'd say 5 software devs are working on new stuff. But then you can also throw in the Romeo team because they're working on new software too, unless you want to consider that it's existing software that we're updating. So again, I don't know. Good question, bad answer, but that's kind of how it is. Any sales leads to cruise ships? No. None at all. Don't care what you say. Gee, I like your name. L4TH. How is RAD G coming along? When do you think RAD G will launch? Well, I think that RAD G's products are going to be in all RAD 3.0 devices. So that's cool. So RAD G will kind of internally launch next month in October, November, because we'll have a production run that will be used in production equipment. But really, when's RAD G going to be, overt out there talking to other companies about putting RAD technology into them? Potentially sooner rather than later. So again, it could be material. I'm going to leave it at that. L4TH, on a roll, my man. Any new case studies with name clients coming out? The last two seem to be really effective. The orders. I have to check with marketing. I got to talk to Doug and see what he's got going on. I know he's got a bunch of things in development. So any new case studies with name clients coming out? I would probably say yes. Timing, I don't exactly know. But yes, the car dealerships and construction industry are really starting to move forward. Thank you for that. RUD 360, Romeo's on Texas border. No, we're not, I get this a lot. Like, hey, you should be in border control and so on and so forth. It's not our deal. We're in the commercial space providing, relief for human-related, labor and employment challenges. So that's the space that we're in right now. But thank you. Alex, listed in Nasdaq. I addressed that one. Paul, love what you're doing. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Mark, thank you. John Christian, live in Columbus. If you consider selling universities, your wife works at OSU. Yes, and yes. We're talking with a bunch of different universities right now. In fact, this past Thursday, I teamed up with Allied Universal and Axis, AXIS, camera manufacturer, and we did a webinar to universities. It was called Defend Your Campus. So yeah, we're looking for clients in that area. Interesting market. I don't think we've got anything really solid moving in that space right now. I think they're coming out of the pandemic issues. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I'd like to be there, particularly doing emergency phone replacement with Scott and Wally. And that's something that really needs to happen. So that excites me. Thank you for the question. Watcheroo. Talk about how you can reduce expenses and down the road with S3 filing, can you acquire the facility in Detroit? Okay, well, I mean, I don't really know what expenses to reduce. I mean, we're not going that way with expenses. We're going up with expenses. We're adding people, which is our biggest expense line item. So expect expenses to increase for sure, right? People equal production equal so many good things, and that's why we're collecting the best and putting them to work. Down the road with the S3 filing, can you acquire the facility in Detroit? I mean, I can talk to the guy about buying the space. Really what we need to do is we need to find a new home for the Canadians, because we've outgrown that space again pretty rapidly. So we're looking at figuring something to do in southeastern Ontario to start with. Detroit, I don't know. We've got, 9.5 more years on the first part of the lease. We have a 10-year option on it, so we'll see where that goes. Raj, thank you. Madan, is COVID affecting the sales? It is affecting the sales. It's affecting the sales because there's so much uncertainty. And then people get sick and they're off or blah, 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 right? So those items related to COVID are affecting the sales. This past week, we've had 2 of our employees catch COVID. One of them in Canada, one of them in California. And, thank goodness they're both doing okay. One was vaccinated, one wasn't. So the vaccinated guy, he's pretty much through it. The unvaccinated guy, I haven't spoken to him since Friday, so I hope that he's improving. But as of Friday, he was hanging on. So yeah, sure. COVID is affecting everything in the world, and if somebody says it's not, then I would question the sincerity of their response. We are looking at hospital security, aka beef. Might have an announcement on that coming up soon. Rocco20, hey man, love seeing you on Discord. Awesome. A normal guy's perspective, why do you care so much about retail investors? I'm just curious. I've never seen a CEO do this. Yeah, I know. Good question. I just had a call. Sunday mornings, I have a few different executive team member calls. And one of them that is always on calendars with Mark Fulmer, the president of Robotic Assistance Devices. And I was just kind of talking to him about some of the things happening for October 13th. And, I was answering the same question, right? And the main reason is I see business today and going forward as being different than in the past. I see it as more of a social experience. And I want to leverage being available and creating a relationship across multiple platforms with our clients and our investors. So I kind of have this sight line where everything kind of is together, right? Like, why does there have to be separation? Like who came up with that idea? Like, why does there have to be separation? Why can't, investors be active in the business, even in the retail investors? So I'm asking those questions and trying to see how to create this new type of business, or I don't know, but this new engagement level, because it's your guys' money. You guys are trading. You guys are doing what you're doing there. So on the one hand, I think I have an obligation and a duty to do more than what the SEC requires, right? Because those SEC rules were written decades ago as far as disclosure. So there's a greater obligation because there's a greater ability to communicate. And then number 2, I want to harvest and maximize and put to work our AITX community. And that's why you're going to have to wait until October 13th. So I hope that that's an answer. I expect and hope that businesses going forward have a greater level of engagement with their investors and with their customers. So I hope that answers the question, but good question. Yeah. Richard, are you planning for salesmen to cover outside North America? I mean, we've got some cool stuff happening in Canada. That's still part of North America. Europe, we got some hooks into some folks in London, in England, that I was going to go meet when I was doing that Romania trip. But of course, that trip got pushed. So we've got our Romanians. Richard, haven't really thought about it, as you could tell. I don't know. I don't have much of an answer. Haven't spent much time on it. Jax, is there a possibility there could be a case study? Yes, there is, Jax. I hope soon. Matt D, gated communities. Oh yeah. Oh, I know. Actually, Matt D, the answer is AVA. AVA in the HOAs. And I think AVA 3.0 in the HOAs are going to fly off the shelves. I hope they do. Nick, Dr. Biz is an example of someone who lost their stimulus check investing in Dogecoin. Go away, Fireball. That is funny. Yep. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, AITX community, who go to battle against nonsense, misinformation. Thank you guys very much for all that. Sam, when are you going to be on Nasdaq? I don't know. Hopefully within 5 years. When is CP officially the social networks rep? Well, he won't be. We've hired somebody else, and I think CP is pretty happy at his existing job. But I do have something carved out for CP. So, as usual, stay tuned. Sunlight, know what the code fire, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you get in that space a lot. Yeah, it's just not space for us for those reasons that I mentioned. Any plans on providing services to Latin America? Pino San, yes, there have been some discussions with some folks in Latin America that want to bring RAD solutions there. I have been holding off because I want the RAD 3.0 line to be launched. And that's kind of a similar story for other things on the sales and marketing side. So really after this 3.0 launch, we're going to go big in so many more areas. And that's, again, a reason why I'm pointing everybody towards October 13th to see what we've got cooking. Richard, when will we hear any developments related to the Ghost partnership? I mean, I gave some right now. We've got a couple dogs coming our way. And development is just kind of getting slowly started around what I call the 50 unit. So that's the update that I have for now. Rohan, how do they work? What do they do? I've seen pictures, but what do they do? Okay, what we're doing, for example, they stop crime. How do they achieve this? Well, there are different types of crime, right? So we're focusing on property crime, including loitering, vandalism, break and entry against vehicles and properties, right? At the same time, we're looking to reduce assaults and other types of physical crimes, right? So that's kind of the category of crime that we're looking at. And we're doing that kind of sort of simply and obviously, and it's so easy, right? Like when I share a concept, people are like, that hasn't been invented before? And I'm like, nope, hasn't been invented. We've kind of invented it, even though it's so super obvious, which is why our entire team is so committed to this mission, because it's those ideas that are obvious that become these big companies. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it, right? Anyway, so that's what we're doing. So what we're doing is we're using AI to do human detection, some behavior tracking, license plate recognition, vehicle detection, face mask, had a variety of different analytics. And then based on what the unit sees on time of day, place, et cetera, it'll perform a reaction, an engagement. And usually just that engagement with the potential perpetrator makes the problem go away. It's that easy. They go down the street, they go next door, it's over, it's done. It's that easy. So that's how we do it. Now, it works. It works because we've got 100 and whatever devices out there keeping customers happy all day long. And I want to have exponentially more than that. The other piece, which is why we're investing and hiring and investing, is I want to take the behavior analytics that we have and improve them exponentially. I want to take the interactions that we have right now that are, in my mind, are relatively basic, and I want to make them much more complex so that we're building these AI units that do more than what I just said, what we do today. That's the direction that we're heading. Good question. Thank you very much, Rohan. Pino, we are in Spanish. We're in Spanish, French, and German already. Multilingual. I think that we have the Asian language packs coming on board as well. So built this company from a global perspective from the very beginning. Q&A is going great. Thank you, Golden. I know we're past time. I don't know how to work this platform yet, so I don't know who's still on, if anyone is. Hopefully you are. I'm going through the questions, trying to answer them, having some fun doing it. I hope you all are having fun too. Sean Flynn. Yeah, we're going to be the acquirer. So Sean Flynn is asking, are we going to acquire companies or be acquired? My expectation is we become the acquirer. Several types of companies that I want to acquire. So if we're going to fill out this mission. So absolutely, that's where I'm at. I'm not ready to hand the reins over to a committee or a board of directors or anybody else. You know, I'm good doing this the next 3 to 5 years at least. And I want to execute all these things that I'm talking about. I want to show you what we've done so far, which is great, and just keep going. So that's where we're at. Cool question, Sean. Thank you for that. Najiri, I work in manufacturing. Lots of opportunities in robotics manufacturing. No, not us. Not us. You know, there's some big players in that space right now that do a great job. We're not going into manufacturing. We're going to stay on the human side of things. Okay. Yes. Pino, much of the industry uses antiquated security systems. Absolutely. Yes, I know it. It's frustrating. Thaddeus Frick. Hey, great vocal supporter. Thank you very much. Love what you do on Facebook. It's very helpful to us as a company and to your fellow retail investors. So your question is what can an investor do to help you grow more? Well, number one, like I said, that social media presence of support and of sharing real information and calling out stupid stuff that comes up, that is worthwhile and helpful. I thank you for that. You're a great example of doing that. So everybody can do that if they feel like it. That helps. And then the next thing, again, all roads leading back to October 13th. I got something for you on October 13th. So then there'll be a better answer on that date. Okay, so that's what I got for you, Thaddeus. Thank you for the question. Hopefully it gave me an opportunity to give an answer that inspired some other investors to be as active and vocal as you are. Sam, we've got 64 back orders as of the last public release of that. Jared Keast, can you explain your dilution and your debts to revenue? Jared, you always seem focused on this question. There will be dilution. I filed an S3 saying that there will be dilution, and even prior to that, I've said that there will be dilution. I ask you and everybody on the call, other tickers that you're involved in, whether they're big boards or OTC boards, ask those questions. See what answers you get. Okay? But to answer the question, can you explain the dilution? I mean, it's pretty simple. We take money, and in return for the money, we give them shares. Those people have those shares, hence dilution. Now, it doesn't always mean that those shares are sold into the market. And, you know, this was demonstrated over the past few months as we kind of had a bit of a decline. The outstanding share count stayed exactly the same. So, this assumption that any loss of share value has to do with dilution is not the case. It certainly can be, but it's not always the case. So, Jared, please accept that response. Now, your debts to revenue, I don't really know what there is specifically to explain between debts to revenue. There's not a specific enough question for me to answer. But hopefully the dilution question provided some good feedback for you. Madan, thanks for a detailed answer. Yeah, 3D printing. We've got, we think about buying a couple 3D printers for Canada and for the Detroit offices because it's nice to make little parts. But what we do have, and I forget the name of it, I call it a mini CNC machine. It's not. And the engineers were very quick to correct me when I called it that, but I'm still calling it that way anyway, because to me that's what it is. But we're making little parts ourselves, not for production, just to patch something or to fix something or do something like that, right? That's what our machine shop is for. We want to have scalable, real machine shops producing stuff in quantity for us. Bill from Brooklyn, big fan. Wear the hat. That's awesome. You were stopped on the street by another shareholder. I love that. I have been waiting for that to happen to me. That is so cool. You got to take a picture next time. Take a picture, send it to me. I'll post it because I'm just waiting, man. We've got like $25,000 worth of merch out there in the field. So that's the first time I've heard of two random investors connecting with each other. That's really cool, Bill. That's really cool. Yay, Brooklyn. Oh my God. Okay, good, Dr. Biz. I'll see you later. Najiri Kieri. Steve, your sales guys should reach the manufacturer after stage. Yes, and we do. Yes. And promoting proper PPE. Yes, 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 yes. We're doing that. We're thinking about that. Thank you, Najiri. Normal guy perspective. Besides the dog-like design you've come up with ghosts, what about a humanoid design? Nope and nope. Okay, so no humanoid designs for Romeo, so cross that off your list. How do you feel about armed robot? Badly. I feel badly, and I feel zero interest in that, so not going to happen, either of them from us at this point. The armed stuff, I don't see ever happening from us. Humanoid, I wouldn't necessarily write it off, but it's certainly nothing that's in the short or medium term agenda or roadmap. Get aggressive marketing expansions and staff. Oh, I agree. It's the staffing. I'm just kidding. I got our marketing guys listening on the call right now. No, we've got great staff. If you're not seeing our marketing, it could be because of how targeted and focused we are in different verticals. So, will there be a day when you see us on a billboard driving down, 405 freeway in LA? Maybe. I don't know. But right now, very careful with our resources and trying to focus and target as much as we can. Man, we are burning through the time. I hope this stuff is good, guys. I think we might be coming to the end. We'll see. What clients are ordering RAD products with the shot recognition? None. Nobody has ordered shot detection yet. Crazy, eh? Crazy. Everybody wants it. Say they want it, but the paper in front of them, don't sign it, don't want it. So that's where we're at on shot detection. Unfortunately, certainly we talk about it. Certainly customers are interested in it, but no one's put pen to paper yet. John Christian, thanks for the answer. It's my pleasure, man. Mark Adrenaline, have you considered approaching Tesla? No, we have not considered approaching Tesla. Sean, do you see yourselves replacing other jobs that people... Absolutely. Yes, Sean. And thank you for asking the question, because that is what AITX is about. We are about taking these... You hear how Canadian that was? Hello, all my Canadians, and sorry, Americans. I got a lot of Canadian in me. Yes, custodians, groundskeepers, for sure. There's a lot of these types of jobs that I want AITX to grow into over the future. That's exactly it, Sean. Great question. Thank you. Denver, thank you for your time. Madan, thank you. Matt, Matt D, come on. Let's get these SCATs replacing these ePhones, man. Those ePhones, this is 1940s technology already, right? So frustrating for me. I get mad. I want RAD everywhere. Jay, hello. Are we able to keep up with demand? It's a good question. We're building around this road to 500, as we kind of just framed it, right? And we certainly have the capacity to perform the road to 500, even if it comes over the next 6 months, which is what I'm hoping. So we're fine for that. Now, if we get an order for 1,000 units or 2,000 units, that rollout, depending on the unit type, we'd probably have a little bit of trouble with that. So it's always that question of, hey, how much do you invest in production abilities, and how much are you selling at the time, right? Want production to stay ahead of sales. The problem is we can't always forecast sales exactly where we want to be. So it's volatile, it's fluid, and I hope that during the course of this hour and a half of me chatting, you guys are picking up some of the tasks that I got to go through, the questions that I have to balance. There's not always a right answer. We don't always know. We work in what I call as fog. We work in a fog. So cool question, Jay. Thanks for it. Thank you very much. Holy crap, what's next? Very kind of you. Appreciate that. Price share estimates I cannot give. Sam. I wish I could. I got an idea. I can say that I want 50 cents, guys. I'm not saying we're going to get it tomorrow or get there next year, but you all know I get a beautiful payout at 50 cents. So folks who think I'm financially motivated, which I'm not, think about the fact that my wife's more financially motivated than I am. She'd sure like us to get to 50 cents. Me, I'm an easygoing guy. I love what I do. It makes me happy. Any plans to providing electricity? Yes, we are talking to a few utility companies right now. Matt D. AITX Army on the ground, protecting property. Love it. Normal guy. Okay, I don't know. Speculation, man. Speculation. Non-lethal upgrades. Daniel, I need you to be more specific on that. Other than Ghost, is RAD co-developing any new solutions with other partners or clients? I'm going to take a pass on that one because I would need some more definition on partners or clients in order to answer it properly. Thank you, Paul, for that. Mr. Frugal. Okay, hey, I hope that you connected with me. Okay, so I just want to put that out again. Hey, Steve, approximately how many warrant shares are attached to loans and are most above current share price? You mentioned some were higher a few weeks. Yes. So I think that one of the last notes we took was at 13.5 cents. And I think that was a substantial amount. So that's the highest cent range that we've taken a note at. I think that, our notes days are behind us. We're in S3 mode. We're in S3 land. Now, why am I so excited about that? Because I don't think many investors really understand what the significance of that is. The S3 is the primary way that the big board stocks raise money. It's the most transparent. It allows companies like us to get the best terms. It puts people on notice to trade the stock properly, which supports retail, right? Which is so important to me. So the S3 is where we want to be. Notes, on the other hand, you take a note, the warrant's at a price, 6 or 12 months later, the warrants become available, and then they could, let's say that your stock's trading at 25 cents, and you got a whole pile of them out there at 13.5 cents, right? Makes it difficult, creates bad dilution, puts downward pressure on the stock. So notes serve an important part of the process of a company growing, because you can't always get to the S3. In fact, many times you can never get to the S3. So we wanted to get out of the notes stage as quickly as possible. It was vital to where we were. I appreciate it. Folks made some good money off of it. Great. Let's let those days behind us. Let's look at the S3. So I don't know if I answered your question. Let me find that question again. Approximately how many warrant shares are attached to loans? I quite frankly, I don't know off the top of my head. And are most above current share price? Yes. We've got some at the 13.5. I know there's a pile at 6.5, and there may not be much else. So I think that's about it. But I don't think that there's many, of the stuff from December 2020 left. But again, I don't know. But that's the best I can do on that answer. Great question. Killis, this article talks about psychological phenomena, how well this works. Many more out there. Cues of being watched, enhanced cooperation in real-world setting. Okay, thank you. Thaddeus, what does your covert side look like for private investigators, or do you have any in the works? I don't know, Thaddeus. I don't know what that question means. I want to answer, what does your covert side look like? I don't know what the covert side is. So, I do not know, sir. I do not know. Sunlight. Rosa. Yeah, 360. So, Rosa 360 is two 180s side by side. That's it. So, that's our Rosa 360. You can't really design anything like that because you never know the diameter of the pole. You just don't know. So it's just easier to have the two 180s. You get your coverage. You can implement them just as easily. So that's how that goes. Daniel, complex how example. I don't know what you're referring to. Soren, if you have license plate recognition and vehicle speed detection, we do not have vehicle speed detection in your Rosa units. You should look into getting government conscious. Okay, thank you, sir. Rex, drones are tied. Can they? Yes, they could be a separate solution. Yes, they can be. Hang on one second, everybody. Hold on. back. Okay. Why do you have almost 4 billion shares outstanding? It seems a little excessive. Okay. Christopher, read the history. Read how we got here. I can't go into that here. Could ticket vehicles disobeying? Yeah, it could. It could. I'm going to skip that question. We're not in that space right now. Roman Shard, do you have a referral program? We do have a referral program. We have what we call an independent contractor program for folks that are connected to potential customers. Contact us if you feel you qualify, because we're very happy to get people on board. You know, we're very happy to do that. D Cartel, diamond hands, man. I like it. Thank you, Carl. Thank you very much. I'll see you on October 13th, Carl. Great. I look forward to that. Any thoughts on AITX Telexistence? Japan? I don't know. I don't know, Madan. It's nothing I even really know about right now. Could we get a video of the software and hardware looking? Yeah, of course we could. Yeah, for sure. You're going to see some stuff on October 13th. People will be taking a lot of video of what's happening there. Dark Watcher, thanks for the support. You're vocal. You're out there. You're an important part of the team. Thank you. Andre Freeman. Hey, Steve, is there prospects or plans to enter the live music sector? There's a budding relationship with somebody that handles security at these types of events. And I think we'll do something with them. Not so much live music, but more different types of events that have short runs, you know, a night or two or three. So it's interesting, though, that the finances are a little bit different. So we're still trying to get our head around it. But I do expect us to be at some type of similar live events over the next 6 to 12 months. Yes, Rosa can be moved. People move them all the time. Anthony Gibson, so they do it. The drone Dark Watcher is ours. It is 100% RAD's. So we are doing our own drone. Okay, let's keep moving because I do got to wrap this at some point. I'm just going to be looking for questions. Thank you guys for the support. So you use AI to predict sales. I wish. We're not at that point yet. Do you have individual personal home? No, not yet. AI, Yep, that's right. No dilution from F-Series shares for two years. Those are the kind of the equity shares that I own and only a couple other people own. So sometimes I get accused of selling shares. Doesn't happen, has never happened, and I put it in writing that it won't happen for at least 2 years. Okay, I don't know what you guys are arguing here about who said what, so I'm going to keep skipping it. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Realistically, are we going to reach the magic number 500? Like I said in the last video, guys, I hope so. We're working hard, but I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I can tell you the entire team and company is motivated to make that happen, and we certainly have a road to 500 in terms of how the sales funnel looks. I wish I could guarantee it. That'd be amazing. Okay, so I think we're done. This is great. Guys, ladies, whomever's on the call, thank you very, very much. I hope this was good. I hope we got through a lot of questions. Thank you for sitting on it. Please take the information, spread it far and wide, and let's keep this core AITX community growing. We'll always have the day traders and the shade casters, all that stuff. That's part of the package. But it's you guys and girls with the understanding of where this company is going that is the core that I'm speaking to when I'm tweeting or when I'm doing a YouTube video. So thank you very much. I got to figure out how to